today on the Tearsheet podcast.
The reason why we have built all the software is so that we can deliver this compelling user experience. We want parents and kids to be able to actually use the product and find it easy to use, because if it's fast, it's simple, and it's easy, then they'll work it. They'll use it in their everyday lives.
Welcome to the Tearsheet podcast. I'm Zack Miller. As new challenger banks and financial products emerge, one trend we're seeing is the targeting of teens. These soon-to-be adults are experiencing choices in personal finance and banking apps that they've never had before. Greenlight is a leader of this next generation of services and products. Founded about 5 years ago, the firm is rapidly growing with nearly 1 million users using its platform to help educate and manage young financial lives. CEO and co-founder Tim Sheehan joins me on the podcast today to discuss what problem Greenlight solves and how families collaborate around the financial app. We also drill down into the macro trends that are encouraging the development of new financial tools for the younger generations. Lastly, he shares his view on where Greenlight may head in the future. Tim Sheehan is my guest today on the Tearsheet podcast.
My name is Tim Sheehan, and I'm co-founder and CEO of Greenlight. Greenlight is a service that aims to help parents raise financially smart kids. And it's been a kind of explosive growth over the past 5 years, now to the point where we have just about 1 million parents and kids using the service, and just getting fantastic feedback from consumers, and continuing to enhance the service. But I would say off to a great start, and excited about the impact we're having on really these kids that will be young adults before we know it.
That's awesome, and it sounds a little early, but congrats on the $1 million milestone, user milestone. Can we take us to, I guess, before you founded Greenlight, like what prompted you to build the company? What's the genesis story about the company? Was it the personal story involved also?
Yeah. I honestly was lucky in terms of all of the things in the personal finance, across the personal finance spectrum. My parents taught me, and essentially what we're trying to do with Greenlight is help all parents be able to have their kids learn all of these things. And so, it's things like learn how to spend wisely, learn the importance of saving because unexpected things happen in life, learn how to invest because that's how you build wealth over the long term, and understand the importance of credit because having excellent credit can save you several $1,000s, on your mortgage or auto loan. And so all of these things within the, under the personal finance banner. And if you talk to any parent, they want their kids to be smart about all of these things. We're just trying to provide the tools that make it easier for parents to teach their kids that.
Got it. So can we talk about how the product works and maybe some of the features and benefits there?
Sure. Yeah, there's kind of a section that we call Earn, where it's got chores tracking and allowance automation, for the kids to learn that basically money doesn't grow on trees, and that they need to earn money in order to get it. And then there's the kind of spending component where in today's world, parents need to be able to instantly be able to get money to their kids when they're not physically with them, but they still want to have oversight, and kind of be involved with what, how the money is being spent. So there's kind of parental controls that are wrapped around the debit card, and the parents are kind of in control of that spending from their phones. So there's the Earn, there's the spending with parental controls. There's a built-in giving account for parents that want to teach their kids to give back. There's a built-in saving account that has a parent-paid interest rate tied to it. So parents can set it to any rate that they want to reward their kids for saving. And the average across all of our customers is 18% APY,
Wow.
which is pretty nice.
Yeah. Very generous parents. I
Yes,
guess this comes from the Bank of Dad concept.
that's right. It's
Okay.
the same idea that essentially, this is something my dad did with me, which is where we got the idea, but basically reward saving, to teach your kids that saving is important, but it's also this good thing. So they get a positive association with saving, and they start to see the effects of compounding returns. They kind of just learn these things by doing them. And then, of course, soon we're adding an investing account as well. So there's this earning piece, spending with parental controls, saving, giving, and investing about to be added soon.
So it sounds like from a product basis, as you've expanded, you're sort of approximating, a bank-like services. Like, how do you think about product? Like, what do you build? How do you partner? Like, how much of, I guess, the development cycle do you guys own?
Yeah, we own it. So the whole product is ours. We have a partnership with a bank, Community Federal Savings Bank,
Mhm.
so that the funds are FDIC insured, and it's a true financial product, with all of the protections that go along with that. And so the reason why we have built all the software is so that we can deliver this compelling user experience. Um, we want parents and kids to be able to actually use the product and find it easy to use, because if it's fast, it's simple, and it's easy, then they'll work it, they'll use it in their everyday lives. And that's how the kids are going to learn, is if they're actually using it. We're big believers in learning by doing. And of course, if you could have the best product in the world, but if people aren't using it, it's not gonna last.
Well, so that's an interesting point. So from a behavioral point of view, like, how are you helping encourage, like, both parents and their children to use it? Are there, like, sort of triggers built in, feedback
Yeah,
loops, types of things?
I think first it starts with solving a real problem in the market, which is parents were not carrying cash, or are not, and we're not carrying cash as frequently as they used to. And so, because parents were using, and are using their debit cards and credit cards for most of their purchases, so they're just not carrying cash very frequently. And because of that, they don't have the cash to be able to give to their kids, in different circumstances that where they, maybe historically they would. And so, that might be money for a school field trip, or for a sports traveling team, or um, going to the movies with their friends, or to pay an allowance. There's really a million different use cases or different circumstances where a parent may choose to give their kids money. And so what we've done is solve that problem by making it very easy for parents to, choose the stores and how much can be spent for their kids. And by solving that core problem in the market, you kind of have this built-in usage. So, I'm a big believer in, nice to have is death. When it comes to a product, it has to be a must-have. It must be solving like a real problem in the market, in order for it to truly be adopted. And so that's where we start. So we start by solving that problem in the market, and then we add on these other capabilities that help parents teach their kids beyond just the spending component. So, it solves the problem of the parent being able to instantly, quickly send their kids money and have oversight how the spending happens. But then it's also helping them, teach them to save, teach them to earn, teach them to invest. That's the idea.
Interesting. And can you give us a little flavor on who the user base is?
Sure. It's really all parents. We have parents who have very young children who are mainly using the chores tracking and allowances and savings accounts, because the kids are so young, they're not really out on their own, spending time away from the parent. So we have those families, but then we also have the families where the kids are, in middle school or high school or college, and obviously the child is spending time away from the parent, and so then you see them not only using chores, allowances, and saving, but now you start to see the spending component used, the giving component, and even the investing component. There's a lot of excitement about that as well for the older kids.
And how are you reaching these families? What kind of marketing? Where are you pulling the population from?
Yeah, it's really digital channels. It's what you might guess. So the ability to find parents, who are either looking for a solution. That's the other way we kind of know that our product is solving a real problem in the market, is parents are actively searching for something. So all the digital channels, whether it's paid search or social, or other means, and starting to test some other channels, and we'll see how those go. But to date, it's been primarily digital channels.
Great. Can you put? So I'm curious here from you, like what you see as your biggest competition. I'm not looking like in terms of a name of a company, but like, are you competing against an existing solution, or is this kind of greenfield? Greenlight is
Well,
greenfield.
yeah, we honestly, I think we kind of found a new area that there was very little activity going on there. Like, I think maybe the only thing you could point to is the traditional bank youth savings account,
Which are pretty limited, obviously. Yeah.
It wasn't particularly a compelling product for the kids. I think it was the kind of thing that, at least for me, it was, it kind of just, you'd get either a monthly or quarterly statement, but it didn't really change much, and you didn't really interact with it much. And so from a pure like product perspective, it wasn't particularly engaging or compelling. And so, yeah, I think the reaction parents have when they, or even kids, when they hear about Greenlight is, oh, we've been looking for something like that. So it's quite often the case that the parents are discussing the need for something like Greenlight. So they're very happy when they discover it.
So it seems like, at least from Tearsheet's perspective, you guys are sort of, one of the leaders of a next generation of products that are targeting families and teens with financial products. Can you talk about that trend? Like, what's changing in the world? What has changed? What are you playing into? I think that has helped you propel that growth.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's there's several probably macro trends going on. One is the declining use of cash. Number two, I would say, is the growth and prevalence of smartphones, not only among adults, but among teens as well. And third, I would say, just, I think, a stronger desire by parents to make sure their kids are smart about money, because they, maybe either experienced or observed, someone having trouble with their finances, whether that be, significant credit card debt, or some other issue. And so I think there's this strong desire for, people to, or among parents, to make sure their kids grow up, kind of smart about all of these personal finance topics.
Interesting. And can you give us a view on, you talked about sort of your approach to product and building sort of the must-haves. Like, can you give us a little bit of view, even from a higher level perspective, like what you guys are working on the rest of the year, like where the company and products are headed?
Yeah, I think you'll see us kind of continue to flesh out the personal finance spectrum. So, as I mentioned, there's the earning, spending, saving, giving, investing. You can think of, the other personal finance topics, that would make sense, that you would want to teach your kids, and have, let them have some experience with. That's one of the things we hear a lot from parents, is that, Greenlight is this very safe environment where the kids can make a mistake, or make a decision that the parents can then discuss with them, to talk about, why maybe that wasn't the best thing to do, or they can reward them when they see the kind of things like, we have savings goals and savings goal tracking kind of built into the product, and so a lot of parents will reward their kids when they achieve that goal, when they save enough. Like, a couple of my kids, they wanted to do the visit another country with their foreign language class in high school, and so they had this big goal that they had to save up to. I think it was $900, and so, it required a lot of work, babysitting and other jobs, to try to save the money up. Because we basically were telling them, if they saved half, then we would cover the other half. And so, there's I think a strong desire to reward your kids when they exhibit the right, financial behaviors. And one thing we've noted is that when the kids learn these behaviors, so they're learning these financial behaviors, they're healthy ones, they, after, doing them enough, they become habits. And then the kids take these healthy financial habits with them into adulthood, and it serves them quite well.
And I guess we have time for one last question. So given this context, you mentioned the growth that you guys are experiencing. Like, what are your biggest, I guess, challenges and opportunities as CEO in this upcoming year?
Yeah, I think, just staying close to our customers, staying close to the market, listening to parents, listening to the kids, making sure that we're providing more and more value into our service. So, whether that be more educational stuff, or particular features that parents have requested. We spend a lot of time interacting with and listening to our customers, and it's served us really well to date. And so I think you'll see us continue to do that.
Tim, thanks for joining us on the Tearsheet podcast today.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.